All right, hi. Yeah, I was just talking a little earlier and I decided to keep on going because it's still early and I still have a little bit of time to go and I'm not hungry for lunch yet. So, working on a nice, cool red painting of Miles Davis. Now, while you were gone, while we were gone and off camera, I was playing with it a little bit more. And as you can see, it's starting to come together. Now, I started off with just white and then I built in with a little bit of red to go around. Now, as you can see, as I start to develop it, and this is just finger painting, it's just a finger painting. As it starts to develop, you start to see all the different highlights and lowlights of the actual shape of the face coming through now. And now I'm working just with proportions just to make sure that we have the face in proper proportion and the hair and everything proportion. So I'm glad you came. You know what, I watched my first part of it and I'm like, yeah, that's not looking too bad. So I thought I'd come in and get this continued. You can do this, or you can watch me continue with this painting of Miles Davis as we go. I should have done that before I started this, is run down and show you the picture of James Dean. But you know what? Um, my finger paintings have always been improving along the way as I've been doing it too. So, what I usually keep in mind, and I tell people when they want to do any portrait painting, always, and you'll find this with other artists too, they will say the same thing too. Always keep in mind where your light source is coming from, and that helps a lot to know where lights and shadows fall on the face, kind of thing too. Now this one is another one, kind of like my James Dean one, where it's kind of like straight on the face, like almost like the way I have it right now, where it's kind of right on your face, and you get to see a little bit more. How come it's when I'm on that my phone goes off? Oh, it's noon. That's right. That usually means that the prime minister's going to come out of his hole and tell us we have 2 more weeks of COVID to go through again. Kind of like a Groundhog Day over and over again. So, but I'm going to show you some finger painting. So this is Miles Davis portrait finger painting that I started a little while ago, and I have the picture up on my screen. So let me just move you over a little bit so I can get this a little bit sharper on my screen too. Oh, sorry. Oh, I had to yawn. You know, I used to get in trouble when I was in school because I yawned in the class, and eventually I had my grade 6 teacher say, you know, if I catch any of you yawning, smack. No, no, they didn't smack you, but they would smack down on your desk, and that would wake you up. Let me tell you, that would wake you up. So now, as I showed you earlier on my palette, my nice Chinet plate, I have had the red and the white together. But I decided I'm going to take a little bit of black just in case I have to go over any boo-boos that I did make, and kind of do a little bit more shadows that way too, so it kind of blends in nicely. So we have some, what it usually is for monochrome, which is usually monochrome meaning one color along with tint and tone. So tint is your white, tone is your black. Now, if you thought of it as, say, a negative of, well, of old of you people old enough to remember film, negatives are like positive and negative space, and you just keep that in mind while you're doing it too. And color, of course, your color. If you want to keep it black and white without a little hint of red in there, I do it for dramatic. Like you don't have to put red in all the spots. It's just in your certain spots that you want to have it in, and it could be that I could make the whole thing actually end up having more red in it than it does right now. But right now, I started off with the black background just because I'd like to have things kind of emerge from the darkness into the light, as you can see. So forgive me if I start yawning because I'm talking at the same time, and talking seems to take up a lot of oxygen, and my brain just ends up getting starved, and I start getting fading. So I have to yawn and pull it all back in together again. But so far, it's looking good. And I was working on it a little bit more while I was talking to my mom. I'd called my mom, or maybe she called me. I can't remember. Taking a break. Oh, see, there it goes again. Okay. Anyways, so we'll just continue where I left off. So I'm going to just add a little light in different spots where I think it needs a little bit of light. I'm just using my fingers and creating shading. Okay. Um, over here. There's shapes you look for too. There's a triangle shape that's like right here. Oops. It's right about here on the cheek. And on the forehead too, there's a. Oh, I'm taking some white just on my finger there. And as you can see, it's a little bit. I had red on there earlier, and you can see the red. The red stains your skin, just so you know. If you're using colors, red has that ability. It likes to do that. Now, with acrylics, they can sometimes have texture to them too. You can have it. You can make texture for your acrylics as well. You can have it so that if you want people to touch your painting, that's always a cool thing to do. If you want people to touch your painting, you can always just add bumpies to it, and it would feel neat too to touch as well as to see. Okay, so like that, and certain spots have a little bit more light on parts than others, so keep that in mind too. Where your light and shadow are. He's kind of like doing that, so he's got that little bit like right here. So see, it's a little bit just like right here. You keep it light and blend it. And your finger, there you go. Like that. And there's also here is a little bit of a lighter color right, a little bit lighter right there. It's got a little bit of a like tension in his head right here, and it's like that's just the one area there. The light and kind of darkens and lightens back up again. So I was looking online, and there's this one woman. She does the whole thing. She does the whole painting. You sit and watch her whole process. I'm thinking, well, if you want to watch the whole process of me doing this, you're more than welcome to. I can paint the whole thing. Of course, it's boring to sit and watch people drawing. Well, maybe not boring if you're talking at the same time. But I always feel like I start doing something and I stop talking. And that's why I usually listen to music while I'm doing this, because then at least you have some music to listen to while I'm busy kind of sorting things out. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta kind of just go for it and see what happens. So there you go. Good looking. So there's a reason why I've also got the black out, because the black's going to help to get into spots that I kind of oopsie on, which is going to be coming up soon. I'm thinking, actually, not too bad, not too bad. Your finger can also be like an eraser as well, erasing spots. You know, you do oopsies on. Down too low. I've got to get a little bit higher. Let me just turn this a little bit so you can see. A bit like that, but it goes into there, it blends in there. So I did like do all kinds of portraits all the time. For a little while there, I was having a little bit of a creative block because I couldn't think of anybody to really paint. So I always, when I get a creative block, I go looking at other people's ideas. So hopefully, if you find you're watching this and it gives you some kind of inspiration to try something, yeah, try it. You don't know what you're going to end up with too. It can be a surprise sometimes. What you can come up with. Keep in mind, I'm always looking at shadow, and keeping in mind proportion too. You have to keep things in proportion as well. Um, I'll probably be going back over it a couple times as well to make sure that I get that. It's coming. It just takes a little bit of time, and I also use as a secret weapon, besides my fingers, is to use a mirror. And because I'm looking at this actually in reverse while I'm doing this, it actually helps a little bit too. So yeah, so I'm doing this painting of Miles Davis here, and like I say, I'd listen to some Miles Davis usually while I'm doing this, but unfortunately, because of copyright, I can only just talk about Miles Davis. And everybody who's listened to Miles Davis and knows the history of Miles Davis knows he's a very uh, legendary jazz musician in the 60s, 50s, 60s. There we go. He was born May 26th, 1926, and he died September 28th, 1991. He was an American jazz trumpeter, band leader, and composer. He's amongst the most influential and acclaimed figures in history of jazz in the 20th century. So there you go. I know people like there's all kinds of interesting pictures, but I always like this one. So yeah, so there you go. I saw this one actually when I went to Toronto one time. I had to go pick up some art supplies, and yeah, I saw this when I was downtown, and that was pretty cool. Thought that would be a cool one to reproduce, but didn't think about it after the fact until now, of course. And so now I just go back and go through my lines, just make sure I'm getting everything in proper proportion. And it's got a little bit of, I think it's a dark shadow there. There, he's got like, um, okay, so the side that's on the further side, it's got like a little bit of a, see how that's coming? And proportion to his nose, it's on the bridge of his nose. Hmm. It takes a few times to go over stuff to make it look right, but we try our best. I mean, I. Okay, so this eye, I'm working on this side, and this eye's on over here. This one is on this here. Kind of like that. Kind of go down like that. It's getting there. And then, see, I'm always looking at different spots. Everybody says, you should just concentrate on one area, but I think it's best to kind of go all over the place in different spots, only just because um, you make one spot look good, and the rest you kind of like it'll look kind of you wreck it a little bit. It's not right. Try to keep it in proper proportion. Everything in proper proportion. Okay, so let's keep going. So the spot right there is the light spot that's right there. And there we go. So it's starting to get lighter there. A little bit there. And there's like a right here. It's just really light right there. I gotta get that one spot. That's doesn't want to get the paint. We're gonna put the paint there. Because it goes like that. Trying to get rid of all the pulls on the paint and shadows and stuff. Make it look proper. There we go. I can see a little bit better too. It's getting there. Okay, so, and there's always like little some things that you can always see, concentrate on, and go along as you see something, you put it in there. But there, I'm thinking. Something like that. Yeah. So, he's got an interesting nose. I always like drawing noses. They're always very interesting. Okay, let's do that again. A little more. So, sometimes I have to let the paint dry because if I go over it a few times, it just moves the paint. It doesn't actually make the paint layer. It actually just keeps moving the paint over and over. There. And just there. There we go. Some of it here. That's too bad, eh? Kimmy. Kim thinks to herself all the time. And I speak to myself as in the third person sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Kimmy. Okay. Nose. Exactly. 1217? Yeah, it's 1217. Don't know what that means, but hey, it's 1217. Um, yeah. And the great thing about doing this too is like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't going to look exactly like the picture because if you do, you're doing copyright and you don't have to look exactly like the picture. It can be whatever you want it to look like. And kind of thing. Fixing your proportions and whatnot. And being something really cool and something I never expect. Right? And that's what I'm going for. I always love that kind of thing. Where you don't know. Yeah, for a while there, it was pretty cool when I was having thinking I was meeting all these different celebrities, and it just ends up it's just you get fooled, and it kind of sucks. So I don't do it anymore. And if some celebrity wants my painting, they're more than welcome to contact me for it. I'm not going to go looking for any more celebrities anymore. I'm just going to keep painting them. I'm not going to go looking for them. Too much trouble. Too much trouble. Honest to God. I don't need that kind of trouble. I promised myself this year I'm not doing that again. Not doing it again. I won't even tell you what kind of trouble I got into because it's just not worth anybody's time. Best to just watch the movies. Enjoy it for what it's worth. Jaded? No. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally jaded. Totally jaded. Totally. Looking good. It's getting there. A little bit of his ear over here, you can see. Um, there. Okay, and of course there's. Like I say, I like using my fingers and just using a little bit of to kind of so that people know that's it's finger painting, not done with brushes. It's done with your fingers. I thought I was in your top five. I thought I was in your top five, but you don't think that I am safe to be around. I thought I was in your top five, but you have to wear a mask when you see me, 'cause you're scared. You don't know where I've been, Lou! You don't know where I've been! Lou! Yeah, you don't know where I've been. Yeah, look at where I go. Where do I go? I go nowhere. I go to work. I go work, come home. I work and come home. Where in time? Where am I supposed to get? You guys are freaking crazy. That's what I think. Where do I have time to go? Unless somebody comes to me and gives it to me. And you know what? Good luck. I mean, you got to be in bad health or whatever. And I'm not in bad health. No, last time I checked, I think I was in pretty good health. Whatever. It is what it is. Do with the art. Do with the art. It is what it is. Come along really nicely. See, little by little, everything comes together. And now this is part of the reason that I grab a little bit of black too, just so when I go back to do some extra proportions, I can find where to add more black in and kind of blend it a little bit better. Because although some places might be okay, when I go back and look at them again, it'd be like, no, I should have added a little bit of more white in that one spot. And I could probably make the eye a little bit bigger. I'm thinking this eye is probably a little bit too small. Yeah, it's too small. Make it bigger. Bigger eye. It's hard to tell. Sometimes when you're doing proportions, you think you have it the right proportion and being a little bit on the small side or a little bit too on the large side. I've done people. I usually make Brad Pitt with eyes larger than he's supposed to be. Or no, sorry, not their there's the eyes not supposed to be big, but they're also like close together, so he looks like he's a little bit retarded. No, I didn't say he was retarded. I just said it the way I paint him or the way I drew him, the one makes it look like I have it like he is, but he's not. Not that I'm aware. Okay, so I have to make that a little bit more over. So now I'm going to take a little bit of my red. I'm going to fix the eye a bit here. Be here. There. Goes there. It goes there. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that's okay. Red's a cool color. I love the color red. There we go. There. And then the eye goes down here. Here too. So this. bit bigger, yeah. All right, 25 minutes in, and I'm almost. You can see it. You can tell it's Miles Davis now. At least you can get a little bit of a hint of where I'm going with this. And, oh, it's just a little too bright. There we go. Tone it down a little bit. Go this way a little bit there. Ooh, that looks sharp, eh? The sharp angle. Right there. Yeah, definitely. And then a little bit right there. And a little bit of red. That's right there. Oh, it's gonna look so sharp when I'm done. I'm loving it already. Oh, 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 it's dripping, dripping. Okay. Yes, yes. When the honey drips, I can't keep away. That's right. There you go. Looking good. And then, looking good. Okay, the nose. The nose is actually darker there. A little bit darker there. I don't know if I'm gonna actually. Put some black in there too to kind of proportion it out. Oh, it's looking so awesome. Okay, a little bit here. And a little bit here. I love how this is turning out. And a little bit of red right there. Yeah. Sometimes I let the painting kind of guide me too. If I see something that, like, I think, yeah, that looks good. And then on the other side, of here, yeah, right in there, some nice. Chris is all about pursing the lips, right? Because he's a. Oh yeah. Putting his lips to his finger as if he's playing, right? I might be off in proportion here. I have to turn this way, so kind of like the whole process of looking. You have to look at everything. You look at every little angle and everything. I'm looking at a whole bunch of eyes. All right, so. Right down here. Almost time for having a break. I'm gonna grab myself an apple or something to eat. Okay. And I know. I'm looking at things going, where can I put that? Does that go good there? Kind of like, it looks kind of neat, eh? It's coming out so nice. Going towards this lip there. I like that. And like I said, I'm going to go back over with the white and with the red again to kind of. Let's see. Hmm. Right. And yeah, maybe. Who knows? His hands may end up being red. I'll have to play with it and find out. There's some red in there too. It's a proportion of his nose there. Careful. Sure. There's some red in there too. Why not? I've seen so many abstracts of this particular picture too. So I mean, there's so many ways you could play with this and adjust it to being what you want it to be, kind of thing. Always look at the picture. I'm not good enough to be able to do it from memory. There's some people that are really good at that kind of thing, though. I've got many good friends that are good at doing that. And again, like I say, I'd be listening to some Miles Davis and imagine I'd probably be rocking out with some of it. So this is just a little bit of a sample. I'll keep going with it, and I'll give you an update in a little while. So thanks for tuning in and watching me doing a finger painting of Miles Davis. Any questions or concerns, please contact me at kimoverholt.com. Thank you for tuning into my studio and studio. Peace out, brother. A little bit at it. We'll see you again real soon.